It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Broder and Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports. It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni. Michigan great and former NFL baller Broder and Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports. It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Broder and Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports. It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Broder and Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And here we go! Told ya! Friday, July 21st, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. Well, I think they're done with us now.
Call them. Tell them we're back.
Yeah, no, they've taken us down by now. How's everybody doing? Here we are. Thank you.
Can
My
you hear
goodness.
us? Can the chat hear us?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Spenny and Lucas and JB and, of course, Parker for working on it. Gabby overseeing everybody. We are here, guys, and we're going to give you the best hour we got.
Absolutely. Guys, we're expected to be joined by Dan Dickerson, talking a little Tigers, coming up at 3:30. Braylon is out today. In his spot, we moved Maz to the front desk here, and in his spot, we've got Slabs. Matthew Broder. Matt Broder, who is 1/3 of our Lions beat writer team with Gabrielle D. Phillips, with Terry Foster, and Matt Broder is going to be out there as well. Matt, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me on. This is going to be an awesome hour we got.
We think. We'll see if we can get a camera on you.
Yeah, where's your camera?
Oh, we're working on it. It's all right. We don't want to get too crazy here.
Please.
We got the microphones. We don't want to get too crazy.
Oh, here comes Luke.
But nonetheless, Broder's with us. Maz, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, bro. Hey, thanks for hanging on. I know you set a couple of deadlines, and you hung through all the deadlines, and here we are. Still working.
Yep, still working. Guys, we'll get right to it because obviously we don't have much time to get in with you. So let's start with a little Detroit Lions talk. What's his name? Aiden Hutchinson. See, I'm off, guys.
Well, he was on Rich Eisen's show.
Aiden Hutchinson was on with Rich Eisen's show. And one of the things, forget about, I want to talk about what Eisen said before what Hutchinson said. Eisen talked about how the Lions fan base is the most starved fan base in the NFL.
No kidding.
I slightly disagree with that because I do believe it's the Cleveland Browns fan base because their team we've got Matt Broder's camera. How about that? Matt, say hi.
We're here.
Let's
go.
Oh, yeah.
We're ready. We're ready.
Oh, let's go. Here it is, buddy. But
you're taking the Browns fans over the Lions.
I am taking the Browns because the Browns actually moved their franchise and won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. So after all this heartache, can you imagine if the Lions moved to
Vegas,
wherever, and
Seattle.
won 2 Super Bowls?
Oh, that's NBA. Yeah, I get it.
I
get it.
So I would put Cleveland, but
we're 1 and 1A.
Nonetheless, do we have any of that sound? It's all good. Never mind. Just talk about this, Tom Mazawey, about the Lions fan base being starved for a winner, and they are going to feast this year.
I'm one of them, as you guys know. Huge Lions fan. Yes, I've only been here for 30 years and 5 months, but I've always rooted for the Lions as a third team. Yes, I know Jets and Giants. You don't count, Maz. Bull crap. You guys know how much I love the NFL. It's my sport. And the Lions are my team. It's like the Yankees. The Yankees are really my team, my number 1 team. The Lions would be 1B. 1B. That's pretty damn good considering I'm 61 years old. All right, I had a long time to root for the Yankees. And the Lions winning a world championship to me would just send me over the moon, man. It would be a great feeling. It's a great feeling when they're winning. Last year when they were the darlings of the NFL in the second half of the year. I was pumped up. I got all my Lions gear. You see me wearing it, and try to talk to my Jersey peeps. I'm proud when I go to Jersey. I'm always repping Detroit, either the Tigers or the Lions. It would just be a phenomenal event if the Lions make a home playoff game like they did. I think I was at the last one when they lost to Sterling Sharp and Brett Favre. I was there in 1993. That was their last home playoff loss. I was there. I want to be there.
I was there too.
I want to be there when they win their first playoff game at Ford Field. I want Ford Field to become the Silverdome. And I know that's really asking a lot, because that Silverdome, when it was crowded and the Lions were playing well, you don't want to be there if you were a visiting team. That's what I want Ford Field to be.
And Matt, this is one of those years, I don't think it's as highly anticipated since 1991. And as you get to camp at the end of this week, as you get to camp next week, what are some of the things that you're going to be watching for?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that in any real consciousness. I was 2 years old when they won that playoff game. But I'm looking to see what this new winning team looks like on the field, what it feels like when the players start hitting, when they start making contact with each other. I was down there at OTAs and mini camps earlier this spring, but we didn't get to see the big boys in the middle actually hit each other. I want to see what that defensive line looks like going up against the offensive line. I want to see what this new secondary looks like on the field against the offense going full throttle. There's so many storylines with the Lions, it's almost hard to pick, but you're right. That anticipation it's wild right now in Detroit.
And I think part of that is not only the expectation for the team, but the first game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, they come out and play the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. Here's what Aiden Hutchinson had to say on the Rich Eisen show about playing Kansas City in Week 1.
The Detroit Lions have the most star fan base, most likely to be fed in 2023. They are ready to eat, and I think your team, the Lions, at Kansas City to start the season. How'd that hit you?
Dude, are you kidding me? That was my first thought, because these primetime games I get so pumped for. Like, there's nothing quite like these primetime games. So, man, when I saw we open up with KC at KC, life doesn't get much better than that. I'm so excited for the challenge ahead. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, and man, I've had my eyes set on this game since the moment they released it. So, we'll be ready. We'll be ready to go.
No, I'm sure of that because look, it's a team game. I get it, 53-man roster and all that. But if there's anybody in particular who can personally wreck the party that night, it is you. Does that hit you in any way, shape, or form, Aiden?
It does, man. It does. Life's changed a lot in these past couple of years. And I feel like I've evolved and I've developed so much in this short time span. But man, I'm grateful for it though, and I work really hard in these off seasons, man. I do it every off season, and I do it to set myself up to have success in the season, man. So, man, I think I've really put in the work, and a lot of guys have, but I feel like I've taken that extra mile when it comes to, my dieting, how I train, my lifestyle. Everything that I do right now is to become the best player I can be. So, man, I do a lot, and I really think it will pay off and start in Week 1.
So two different parts there. And again, Aiden Hutchinson on the phone with the Rich Eisen show earlier today. Two different parts. Let's start with the part about Aiden Hutchinson himself, Matt, and I'll come to you with this. I think Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, and Kayvon Thibodeau will be linked together for a long time, right? Yep. 1, 2, and 5. Those players were taken in the 2022 NFL draft. And I think if you gave all three teams the option to have a redo, I think all three teams would pick the guy that they got.
Yep.
And here in Detroit, I think we expect, the expectation for me anyway, is that Aiden Hutchinson, who came on, huge last year, especially in the second half of last year, is going to have an incredible leap from year 1 to year 2 for all the reasons that he talked about. Better diet, lifestyle, working hard, all those things will translate. And hopefully week 1 against Kansas City, hopefully he gets to Mahomes a couple of times, and then you just set the tone. He is such a key to the defense, I believe, getting to the quarterback. This is going to be a huge year for Aiden Hutchinson.
It is. And, one of the main reasons we loved him coming out of Michigan, yes, we knew he was going to be picked 1, 2, maybe 3 in some mock drafts, but it was that drive, that work ethic to be better, to get better throughout his career. And I think that's everything we want this defensive line and really this team to be modeled after. Mm-hmm. So, going into year 2, there's no concerns about Aiden actually putting in the work this offseason. And I think a lot of the young guys feed off of that too. So coming out, you got a tall task on Thursday night to open the season in front of the entire world. Everyone's going to be watching. So to see a guy like Aiden lead our team out there against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, we're going to learn a lot about this team. I know it's the first game and people want to overlook it. We're going to learn a lot about this team that first week.
I totally agree with you, Maz. And you can't help but remember when Michigan played Notre Dame in the first week? That was their first football game every year. I feel like it's so much easier to get up to play Notre Dame than it is to play Western Kentucky. And I understand that in the NFL, each week it is a huge game. But when you have the opportunity to play the Super Bowl champs on a night set aside for really a showcase of the league, a celebration of the NFL, and you get chosen to play in that game, I think that's pretty special. And everything that leads up to that point, I think, helps you prepare for the season, too. We were worried about the Lions not starting the season on time. Remember in Hard Knocks last year, the clip of Dan Campbell saying, guys, the season doesn't start on week 8.
Right.
You know what I mean? It starts week 1. I feel like those guys are going to get that message that this season starts week 1 in Kansas City.
Hey, what did we all discuss when the schedule came out? Hey, where do you want to play Kansas City? Maybe we're going to play them in Germany. What week do you want to play them? You couldn't have picked a better week to play the Super Bowl champs. They are going to be there fat and happy. They're going to be getting their rings. The banner's going to be unveiled. The Lombardi's going to be at midfield. There's going to be a half an hour worth of celebrity, of a celebratory, it's like a parade right there at Arrowhead Stadium. And the Lions are going to be waiting. It's like the heavyweight champion coming out, and the Lions are just that visitor, just that challenger that's coming out. Okay, we're just going to come out. No one's paying attention to us. It's all about Kansas City. If Dan Campbell, he couldn't have picked, had the Chiefs at a better spot. He's going to get this team up and ready to play. I could just imagine, men, we're picked here. This is week 0. We're the only game. Everybody is watching us. This isn't even Monday Night Football. This is ground zero. They don't play for another couple days, the rest of the league. Everybody is watching us. Go out there and play your ass off. That team over there is the champions. Time to measure up and see what you got, boys.
Is there a head coach in football, Matt, that you believe would give, and maybe there is, but would give a better pregame speech than Dan Campbell? I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who would give a better pregame.
It's hard to imagine. I think Mike Tomlin, maybe a guy like Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. Kyle Shanahan to me feels like he'd give just because he's so cocky.
What about Rex Ryan?
Rex Ryan would give one. Rex Ryan. The Jets Hard Knocks when Braylon was in there is one of the best speeches I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, that's Rex.
Talking about.
Rex and Dan Campbell could be basically separated at birth.
Yeah,
they're the same guy.
Winning.
They're the same guy.
Yeah, I can't think of one that I think would be better. Guys, I want to get to this too. FanDuel ranked the NFC North quarterbacks. It is no secret. Well, I mean, maybe this one was a little bit of a question.
We always ask this still.
But Jared Goff is first, and it's funny because because of this quarterback documentary that has come out on Netflix. There's a clip in there now that is making the rounds on social media of Patrick Mahomes saying that Kirk Cousins is the most underrated and underappreciated quarterback currently in the NFL.
That's because he was in that same quarterback documentary that Netflix put out.
Well, yeah, they're all sitting next to each other. The three quarterbacks
know.
are kind of sitting next to each other. I don't know if you saw the clip.
I haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
but how do you not say that?
Exactly. And, Kirk Cousins on a couple of different lists now is a top 9, top 10 quarterback. And it's funny that these lists come out after this Netflix documentary. But Jared Goff, according to FanDuel, and really according to, I think, all of us.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you guys, but Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the division, and this is the first time in over 30 years that Detroit has had the best quarterback
Well, I'm
in the
going to say
division.
he's neck and neck with Kirk Cousins, to be honest with you.
I would if you give me the opportunity, if I could have Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins leading the Detroit Lions, ask the chat, everybody in the chat. You could have Jared Goff leading the 2023 Lions, or you could have Kirk Cousins leading the 2023 Lions. Who are you picking? For me, I don't even have to think about it. It's Jared Goff.
I would go with you this time only because of the last 2 years. I see the difference in Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. You've seen, we all know the deal, right? He can win the 1 o'clock games, but he can't win the 4 o'clocks and the 8 o'clock games. So yeah, I guess that speaks for itself. He didn't win that playoff game against the Giants last year when I thought the Vikings had the much better team and they had home field and they still couldn't win. So I guess I'd give Jared Goff the nod right now as well.
Matt?
Yeah, and one of the most, I think, underrated aspects going into 2023, this is the first time in Jared Goff's career he's had the same offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in back-to-back years.
Wow, I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's around him, it's been a carousel. There have been really good offensive coordinators and QB coaches he's played with, but it's been a new one each year. And what we've seen on quarterback, the amount of information and new schemes and strategies that quarterbacks have to digest, not just every season, but every week. Like, having this consistency with a guy like Ben Johnson and Mark Brunell, Jared Goff is still getting better.
The voice you're hearing, if you are not watching, is Matt Broder. He is part of our Lions beat writer team that you will see a lot this season. You will read a lot this season on woodwardsports.com. Now, Matt was a college baseball player.
Yeah, he
Matt, give the people out there a little history lesson on yourself and Michigan baseball, baby.
Yeah, I pitched just down the road at Cranbrook High School, but then went to the University of Michigan to pitch for 4 years for the Wolverines baseball team. It was an awesome experience. I got hurt my senior year. I had aspirations to play professionally here in the U.S., but it didn't work out. However, I got an opportunity to play over in Germany for a season and really see a little bit more of the world and just play baseball a little bit more. It was great, but I do love football.
What was the injury?
It's actually kind of a long story, but it was a shoulder injury.
Okay.
I had a labrum surgery that knocked me out of what would be my redshirt senior year. So my path changed a little bit.
There you go.
But
hey, man, it's all about pivots and changing, the zigging and zagging. And
Hey, you were part of the one Michigan team that had the greatest comeback in college baseball history at one point.
That's true. That's true. We were losing in Northwestern 14-0. Then we ended up winning 15-14 in extra innings.
And you threw the first zero of the game.
I did. I gave
You
up
put
runs,
up a zero.
Runs number 13 and 14 I gave up. But then I got that first zero in the fourth inning before we had Matt Miller come in and close the game down. For the
Nice.
So if you had to get, what would you say would be your first love, baseball or football?
Basketball.
Basketball?
Yeah. I just love all sports. I enjoy the mental aspect of baseball. I love being a pitcher. You got the ball in your hand every play, and it all starts with you, kind of like a quarterback. Basketball has its own intricacies, and I like coaching basketball the most. I think you can make the most difference as some of these younger players as a basketball coach. And football, it's probably my favorite sport growing up to just follow and love. And the Lions have been kind of crappy my whole life, but that's part of it in some weird, twisted way.
That's fantastic.
Looking forward to it, man. Love the season. Cannot wait. to get it going. We made it, guys. It's training camp. It's training camp time.
Hey, guys, I'm going to make an executive decision on the fly here. Let's do the live reads, but not break for commercial. The Woodward guys that are in the chat, everybody watching right now, the fact that you stuck with us, we could do the commercials to end the show. Let's do the live reads, though. We'll give you a message from Big Boy.
All right, let's get you going here, fellas. Thanks for hanging with us, and I know you're going to make it out to Big Boy and start your day with a great breakfast. The Strawberry Fest is in full swing, and you want to start off with those strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. And if you want a little snack in between your days, how about starting off with the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or the refreshing Summer Splash salad? Don't you leave without dessert. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what time it is.
It's the classic strawberry pie, the mouth-watering, the vanilla Oreo. It's the mouth-watering Oreo and the strawberry hot fudge cake. Get it all at your local Big Boy.
And let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more, servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground. And we continue on here, WoodwardSports.com. We had some technical difficulties for the first hour of the show, hoping to give you another hour that is to your liking.
Did we figure out who unplugged us?
An hour of content here. Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazawey, and Matt Broder. Matt is part of our Lions beat writer team with Gabrielle D. Phillips and the great Terry Foster. They'll be out there covering the Lions for us on WoodwardSports.com. We hope you'll give them a read. Give them a follow on social media as well. Broder, throw out your Twitter to the people while you're here.
Matt Bro 21.
Matt Bro 21.
You bet.
Yeah, baby. All right, I want to talk to you about this because, Matt, this is more for you than anybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm almost glad that Braylon is not here to hear this. Maybe, I don't know actually how he'd feel about this, but I am already sick. And training camp has barely started. But I'm already sick of hearing about the New York Jets.
Oh, get over it.
Every channel that I turn on, if it's a sports channel, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Why
and
not?
I am just over it. Here's Aaron Rodgers, though, talking about playing with the young Jets.
How far into the future do you think? Like, are you solely this 1 year, or are you thinking of
Energy, I love being around the young energy, that excitement. There's a great feel to this team of guys who are young and super talented.
Can we reboot that again? If we
No, don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing. Matt, people don't need to hear it. Just summarize for them. No more sound the rest of the way.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I cannot do it any longer. I am going to have fucking steam coming out of my fucking ears.
Do we have the tweet of Aaron Rodgers? The tweet.
Just tell me what he said.
Aaron Rodgers said, look, I'm not here for a 1 year. The Jets spent a lot of money on me. They brought a lot of assets in. I love the vibe of this team. I love the young guys on this team. They're all on their first contract, most of them here. Q just got paid. He's talking about Quinnen Williams. Calls him Q already. This guy, it's like he's been reborn. He went in that black hole for, I don't know, how many days was he in there?
4.
4 days. He comes out, and he wanted to be a New York Jet. They finally made it happen. He gets to camp on time. He buys himself a gorgeous home in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, in between the practice facility and Giant Stadium. He is ready to play ball. Last year, he had his worst year, flat out. Packers, they underachieved. They did not make the playoffs. The Lions owned them. Kirby Joseph was the last pass that he completed as a Packer, okay? He is ready to play football this year. And what he wanted to say is, this could be a special year for me and the New York Jets.
And maybe
this ain't a 1 year thing.
Well, we'll see how that goes, right? I mean, I do think if you backed me against a wall, if you put me against the corner and made me tell you, is this going to be more like last year's Russell Wilson experiment with the Broncos, or will it be more like the Tom Brady Bucks, Matthew Stafford Rams scenario? And I do believe it is that. Not everybody is sold, though, Matt, on that.
No, they aren't. I happen to agree too. I think it's going to be, tearing more towards the Tom Brady on the Bucs. But there's a lot of pieces to put together, and it's hard. I mean, for me, it's hard to trust everything that comes out of his mouth.
Sure.
He wants he loves all these young guys out there, except he's got to have Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb and all his older buddies from the old folks home join the Jets. but no, they're going to have a good team. They're going to be tough. But that division, that's no easy task.
Hey, they basically took Randall Cobb instead of Denzel Mims.
Yeah.
Think about that. He took his go-to guy, his guy that he knows knows where he's gonna be on the field. And the Lions, I think, benefit out of this because I think they're gonna get a kid in Denzel Mims that's gonna be exactly what they need. A big, tall receiver. If he can catch the ball, he is exactly what Jared Goff needs.
I guess one of the reasons why I wanted to do the topic is because I almost hope they're bad. Because they are going to consume so much time on the sports. I mean, when your team is good, like I anticipate the Lions being good this year, and just go back to baseball, okay? All these years, I don't think I ever watched Baseball Tonight in my life until 2006 when the Tigers got good. And when the Tigers got good in 2006, you can't not watch Baseball Tonight. You're watching every single baseball show there is. You're watching PTI and Around the Horn because they're talking baseball. They're talking Tigers. And you want to hear your team's name called. And while I do think the Lions will get a lot of attention this year if they do follow through on what we think they can do, the Jets are just going to drown everybody out. There might not be enough room for the Lions in the national media space.
That's fine with me.
I understand that, but I'm just talking about adding to the experience of the fun. I don't care to turn on ESPN every 5 minutes and hear about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Quite frankly, Patrick Mahomes is going to get a lot of time. So, where does that leave the Lions when it comes to just the fulfillment, the enjoyment of the season, where you just can't get enough content regarding these guys?
Listen, this is my year, man. All the years I've rooted for the Jets and the Lions, look what they've gotten me. Nothing but losses. I've always called the Jets the Lions of the AFC. That's what they are. And the Lions are their own guy. They're their own island. They're one of the only original teams to not make a Super Bowl. They are on their own. And now with the Jets and the Lions, this is my year to shine, baby. This is my time. I've got an outside chance to see the Jets and Lions in the Super Bowl. I do.
Do you claim the Jets now?
I'm a Jets and Giants guy. What do you mean, do I claim the Jets?
Well, I thought you were a Giants guy.
Okay, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not.
I thought you were a Giants guy. I know you like Joe Namath.
How about Mets and Yankees? You're going to ask me which one I like better?
Yeah, you like the Yankees.
Yeah, but I like the Mets, too.
You like them. What do you like the Islanders?
I love the Islanders.
But you're a Rangers fan.
I hate the Rangers.
You do hate the Rangers.
I'm a Devils fan. When the Devils came in '82, that was Jersey's first team.
Right, that was Jersey's first team.
Listen, man, I root for all my New York teams except the Rangers.
Now, is that traditional? Is that...
Well, no, I don't know.
No, I'm asking you.
Usually people like one or the other. I like them all. Is that a bad thing?
No, I mean...
If I was in Chicago, I'd love all the Chicago teams.
I guess the just to put it into the context that maybe people here can understand what it may be like, is it a little like a Michigan State kind of thing, where you can live in the state of Michigan,
yeah,
and where you have two teams,
and you root for both,
but you root for one and you hate the other?
Yeah, usually that's the way sports is, right?
I'm asking you. I don't know.
What does Braylon always say about me? I'm a different sports fan.
You are a different guy.
Okay? I watch everything. I love everything except certain things. I will not root for a team from Massachusetts.
I love everything.
I despise Boston and Massachusetts. Take them off the map, and I like everything. Do I like the Dodgers? No, I don't. I loved them when they were in Brooklyn. I wasn't born yet, but I would have been probably a Brooklyn Dodger fan had I been here. I would have been a New York baseball Giant fan had I been around at that point. You root for who you want. I'll root for who the hell I want.
What if I don't want you to root for the Jets and the Giants?
I don't think it matters. I really don't care what anyone thinks, to be perfectly honest.
I think Maz is, like Spenny said in the chat here, Maz has 40 teams.
Well, whatever.
I don't think you should have 40 teams.
I don't give a shit what you think. And I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. I watch sports 24/7.
This is a different show.
24/7.
Gang, this is a different show today. I will tell you, we
You want to bust my balls?
We've been
Bust my
getting
balls.
after each other for the last hour plus. We've got Matt Broder in with us. Matt's going to be part of our Lions beat writer trio team. Terry Foster, Gabrielle D. Phillips, and Matt Broder.
We got to call Dan Dickerson.
WoodwardSports.com. Dan Dickerson is going to join us.
Dan wouldn't bust my balls. He knows my teams.
Next, but first a message from Fairway Packing Company.
Yeah, tell him about Fairway.
Fairway Packing Company. It's the weekend. Why don't you do yourself a favor? For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Have a weekend for yourself. Get out on the patio. Weather's going to be great. Go buy some great steaks. They've got pork chops, incredible Berkshire pork chops, great burrata blend burgers as well. They're on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab and go steaks. You can order online too. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Source cut, aged, packed to perfection. We are going to take a break. Dan Dickerson next.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Good. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Hey, sorry about that. If you give me just 1 second, I will pass you through to the guy.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2.
Thank you so much.
Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs.
I got him, you guys.
Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazawey, Matt Broder is in with us today. Matt is going to be covering the Lions as part of our beat reporter team with Terry Foster and Gabrielle D. Phillips. T-Foss, the legend, part of the crew this year. And
he's got his KC Monarch shirt on today, his jersey. It is Negro Leagues weekend at Comerica this weekend. I'm going tomorrow. I'll get my Stars jersey.
Absolutely. Going to be a great weekend at the ballpark. So let's go down there right now and bring him in. Speaking of legends, Dan Dickerson, Tigers play-by-play voice, the voice of the Tigers, joining us now on the phone. How you doing, Dan?
I'm great, Ryan. How are you, Tommy?
Hey, Danny. Matt's here as well. Say hi to Matt.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
I'm very well. Pleasure to talk to you, Dan.
Hey, Dan, let me ask you, my
I
friend.
look forward to your Lions coverage.
Hey, Matt used to pitch for the University of Michigan, Dan.
Awesome. I work with you probably knows Bobby Scales from U of M, one of their best hitters.
Yep.
I was listening to you guys yesterday.
Bobby's been terrific. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was listening to you guys yesterday. You guys, Bobby Scales did a great job. And you got Chris Fetter leading the pitching staff.
Been terrific.
Michael Bedard leading the hitting staff.
How about that?
A lot of Michigan
Go
up
Blue.
there.
That's great. Hey, Dan, I wanted to have you on. Obviously, I love talking to you, but love talking baseball, and it's fun to talk about a 5-2 road trip to start the second half of the season, the unofficial second half of the season, and then you come home for 7. This is exactly what I think the Tigers fans and the organization wanted to see out of the break. How do you characterize that 5-2 start on the road?
Yeah, we started that first game in Seattle by talking about the importance of the 17 games leading up to the trade deadline on August 1st and how important it would be to not just inch a little bit closer to first place behind the Twins. I think it was 5.5 at the break, but you really have to win some games. In other words, you play 500 ball, but the Twins lose a bunch and you close in on first place. That's not the way to do it. You win a bunch of games, you start closing in on first place because you're winning a lot. Then all of a sudden, well, Scott Harris has said it. It can change the equation of how he deals with the trade deadline. I don't think there's probably a whole lot of doubt that if Eduardo Rodriguez is the top 1-2 pitcher, starting pitcher on the market, I mean, let's face it, the odds are likely that he'll get dealt. But it might just change kind of how you put the puzzle pieces together for the final 2 months. Because you do want to, if you've got a young team that's learning how to win, and I'm telling you, a 5-2 road trip was big. Learning to win on the road as a young team is a really important skill, if you will, to learn how to do. Good teams win on the road. You don't want to lose whatever momentum you might be building for the trade deadline by trading everybody away. Because you still want that good, strong finish the last 2 months, because it can absolutely lead to good things down the road.
Dan, I don't want to mischaracterize what Scott Harris said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe I heard him say that, yes, this 17 games would make a difference as to the Tigers' plan for the rest of the season here. And this is huge.
Yeah, so I'm saying 9-8 doesn't move the needle.
No.
12-5, okay, I'm interested.
Me too.
So that truly is, kind of the fine line. And again, it's not necessarily that they won't trade an Eduardo Rodriguez if he is the best pitcher on the market. It does mean that it might change what you do in addition to that to make sure that you can finish as strong as possible, maybe trading to get somebody back, or maybe in your trade for Eduardo, you get somebody who can fill in the rotation maybe earlier in his career. I don't know what that looks like, and they're almost surely going for a bat, but he does have, and he knows this, I'm not saying anything to he does have to do what's best for the organization in the long term. If you've got a piece that can net you 2 top 100 prospects, I think most people's consensus seems to be that's what you could do. If you traded Eduardo Rodriguez, we trust that he knows how to evaluate talent. I think he's already demonstrated that since he was hired last September. Then you'd say, okay, we're going to trust in him. But just remember, trade a guy like that away, you have to have somebody ready to fill in that spot. Not just for the rest of this year, but down the road as well. Those are the calculations right now.
Hey, Dan, if Eduardo Rodriguez is perhaps the top pitcher on the market, is Michael Lorenzen the second best pitcher on the market, perhaps?
Tampa Bay wants him, supposedly. Can we get Paredes back?
Lorenzen's certainly trending in the right direction, I would say. But again, it gets really tricky. You trade them both away. Okay, who takes those 2 spots? We saw, living with bullpen days every 3, 4, 5 days was doing. That wears out a bullpen at some point. Joey Wentz clearly needs a little more work down at AAA. Alex Faedo, kind of probably the same. Spencer Trimble may be back, but you don't know. So, yeah, it becomes very interesting. But this is the good thing. Scott Harris can just sit back and take the phone calls.
Amen, man.
And you're dealing with, let's say the Orioles call. By all accounts, even with all the guys they have promoted, Henderson, Hauser, Rush the last 2 years, they still have guys that they could trade from their farm system. That would be an obvious trade partner. But he can just sit back, listen to the office. If there's one that he likes right now, let's face it, he's probably got a list. Okay, we would need this level prospect or prospects return for Eduardo. And once we get that, then we'll make a deal without maybe waiting for more. Or if you're not quite getting the offer you like, you wait and see who else calls. You don't have to make a deal before August 1st. You might go get the package that you like.
Dan Dickerson joins us, the voice of the Tigers, live from Comerica Park. Rematch of the World Series from '84 this weekend. Padres and the Tigers. The Padres and the Mets, Dan, obviously the two most disappointing teams in the major leagues as far as what their owners did for those teams. Amazingly, I can't believe how bad the Padres have been playing. You got to get them. The Tigers got to get them now while they're down. But it's going to be hard. A lot of great players underperforming on that team.
Yeah, I was looking at they've outscored their opponents by 30, 40 runs. They're, expected one loss, which is a useful thing to look at because you can tell if a team's overperforming or underperforming. They should be 7, 8, 9 games over 500.
Sure.
And they're 5 below. And I can figure out why. Sometimes there's an obvious why, but there really isn't with these guys. They draw a lot of walks. They don't swing and miss a ton. They've got decent power. They've got superstars in the middle of the lineup.
Yep.
Bogarts, I know hasn't had a great year, but Bogarts, Machado, Soto. Kim is a terrific player at second base. That's a really valuable player. Cronenworth is having an off year, but that's a good player. I can't quite figure it out. They are the number one team in run prevention in the National League, and they've got enough hitters to certainly be better than ninth in the National League. Very puzzling team to me, but the record is an indication of how they played. Take advantage of it, find a way to beat them 2 out of 3. But this is a team that is far better than a 46.
Oh, God, yes.
Record on paper.
Hey, the good thing, Dan, is we miss Blake Snell. And he's been one of the hottest pitchers, and so is Michael Lorenzen, obviously. But we don't get to see Blake Snell here, which is a good mark.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that just because he walks he can walk the house on a given moment. But obviously, 2.60 ERA and 12 strikeouts per 9. But that's actually the kind of pitcher that the Tigers have faced up well in terms of making him get into the strike zone. I think that's been one of the bigger improvements to the Tigers' offense this year. For all of its fault, still about the offense, there are still some signs of progress in the areas that want progress, meaning getting pitchers in the strike zone, less chase, more walks. I would like to see that matchup, but I'm not sad to miss it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Dan, Matt Broder here. I wanted to ask you about not just Max Clark, but the draft in general. The Scott Harris just completed his first one with the Tigers. In my opinion, it looks like he's clearly planning for the future, building this team around young, athletic hitters who can not only control the zone, but can use their speed on defense and on the base pass, which is kind of where the game is going. We want to have more action on the base pass.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? And if not, what's your takeaway from this draft, and what do you see from this draft that Scott Harris is building for the future?
Yeah, it's kind of both, but with your number one pick, you have to have that defensive component. You have to. And I think a lot of people were surprised the Tigers took a high school over a college guy, but the upside defensively for Clark is so far above Langford that I don't think it's really close. Is it a little more of a risk with a high schooler? Absolutely. But I trust that Scott Harris knows what he's doing. He's got a pretty good track record. But what I really like hearing was that they brought him in. This is, I think, the thing that separates good GMs, presidents of baseball operations from the rest. They get to know the person. They try to figure out what kind of person am I getting. Okay, this kid's a little cocky. That's okay, as long as you've got that. That's why they bring him in. Get to know him a little bit. Challenge him with some questions. Try to throw him off guard with some of your questions. He's got that drop. He wants to be great, and he knows he's not there yet, and he knows he has to work to get there. I think these are the things that they kind of found out about him, and that's why I made him such an attractive pick. And so, yeah, you're a little bit of a risk more, but I think they take some of that risk out with all the homework they do. So to answer your question, yeah. So you make sure that number one guy's got that defensive component. And then, for a Max Anderson type, the third pick, second round guy from Nebraska, that was all about the bat. And then you worry about, okay, you'll find a place for a guy like that defensively if he can hit at the level that they think. The other thing that's so strategic was the use of how to sign guys in little other spots, spread it around, take another high school guy that you can prevent going to college, that can offer a little above spot. I mean, that strategy is something that never really paid attention to. I think this is the first time we've really seen the Tigers go that route very strategically to add to their depth. They're very excited to get some of these high school kids, but it's clearly the first time that we've seen the Tigers draft as many high school kids, but it's kind of a sign of where the draft is going now, from heavy on college, certainly for the last 2 decades. But if you just look at the track record, not great on drafting college hitters. I'm talking the first 5 rounds. They've hit on maybe 2, 3 in the last 30 years. I like the idea of trying another one.
Amen to that. Hey, Dan, thanks so much for doing this. Know you're busy today. 7 on the road. They've got 7 at home now. What can they do with it? And they get Shohei Ohtani on this homestand as well.
Lucky us.
We're looking forward to that. But 3 with the Padres first.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. This is the most important 7-game stretch of the season, right?
Amen.
Enjoy it, Dan. We appreciate it.
See you soon, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, guys. Always good talking with you. Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, so excited. I mean, this is the most important 7 games of the season.
It's going to make or break this year.
Right.
Not going to make or break the entire rest of their era coming up here. But this year, if they're going to stay in it and they're going to be active at the trade deadline, even a little active, these 7 games, they got to go at least 4-3. 5-2 would be out.
5-2. They need a 5-2.
5-2, but they're playing some good teams that are underachieving.
I understand. They need a 5, but what in terms of what we're talking about,
they'd be 10-4 then after the All-Star game.
In terms of what we're talking about,
I'd take it.
Well, I think a lot of people would. They are freaking 4 games back in the loss column, and as I look at the schedule here, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games with the Minnesota Twins in August.
Okay.
They've got 6 with the Twins in August.
They got to still play Cleveland, and they got to beat Chicago when they play them. Kansas City. Can't lose those games to Kansas City.
You mentioned Cleveland. Cleveland has scored 400 runs. They have given up 400 runs. They're plus minus 0.
And last
year,
you know
how hard that is?
Last year they were outstanding.
You know how hard that is? Goodness.
Sounds about right.
Guys, let me tell you about 5-Iron Golf. 5-Iron Golf. You've got 5-Iron Golf. Yeah, you've got 5-Iron Golfs.
Think you can play golf? How about beating a professional athlete? It's Woodward Sports Thursday night golf league live at 5-Iron Golf for 12 consecutive weeks. Featuring famous courses from around the world played on state-of-art TrackMan simulators in 5-Iron Golf's new 25,000 square foot facility in downtown Detroit. Can you beat Darren McCarty on hole number 12 at Augusta National? What about outperforming Broder Edwards on hole 8 at Pebble Beach? Do you have what it takes? If so, register for your chance to win a free foursome today. Just follow us on Twitter and Instagram before August 1st and direct message the word golf. That is 5-Iron Golf.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner jumper. Tweet us. Hop on the YouTube chat. Slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Hey guys, experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. You know us, we're there twice a month. We go to Hazel Park, we go to Romeo. Make sure you come on out and join us. Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis, curated with care. With over 10 locations, Dispo is never far away. Visit disposhops.com today. Unlock a world of endless possibilities in the realm of cannabis. That is disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
And let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale with the brands of Buick and GMC, a trusted name for over 55 years. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been for over 55 years on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. All GM brands right there. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
New roads. Guys, it is a Friday. Let's do A little fill-in-the-blank Friday. We've got our guy, Matt Broder, in the house. Maz?
All right, let's lead it off, guys. The biggest question mark heading into Lions camp is blank. Ryan?
The linebacking core. Still, they've got a lot of youth there. They've got Malcolm Rodriguez in year 2, Jack Campbell in year 1. How quickly can those guys get up to speed on everything and really make an impact moving forward? I say the linebacking core.
Matt Broder, I come to you.
I'm going defensive tackle. It's one of the defensive units that they invested in the least this offseason. They're expecting these guys like Ali McNeil and Isaiah Buggs to continue to get better to help the team. So I'm looking at the defensive tackle position.
All right, I'm going to go with the kicker. How about that? They had 3 kickers coming into camp. They let Michael Badgley go. The money badger is gone. That leaves John Parker Romo or Riley Patterson, who they traded for and gave a pick away as Jacksonville was about to release him. Same thing happened with the Jets and Denzel Mims. The Lions try to stay on top of it. They don't want to get in a bidding war against another team. So they bring these 2 kickers in now. Riley Patterson, I think, has the edge. Romo has got the big leg from the XFL. I'm anxious to see this, to tell you the truth. You know me, I like the kicking game.
Absolutely, Matt. Let me ask you, the blank will be the biggest surprise team in the NFC. The blank will be the biggest surprise team in the NFC.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders.
Look at that.
The Washington Commanders are way better than their record was these past couple of years. They get healthy. They've got a terrific defense. You've seen them a couple times on national TV. Yeah, the Lions handled them, and Aiden Hutchinson had his best game against them. Matter of fact, he went into like a little slump after they played against Washington. I want to keep calling them the Redskins. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I cannot help it.
Broder, what do you say? The blank will be the biggest NFC surprise team.
I think it's the Carolina Panthers. I really like what they've done this offseason to surround Bryce Young. I think they're going to make the biggest show. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I think they might be in the mix there, at least late in the season, but I'm expecting them to do a little bit more than what most people think.
I am going to go with the LA Rams. You never underestimate the heart of a champion. I think Matthew Stafford has one good shot in him. I'm going to go with the LA Rams. I'm going to go with the LA Rams to make the playoffs this year.
All right.
Yes, that is my bold prediction. Lucas Klotz over here says I'm smoking weed. I am not smoking marijuana.
They'll be last.
We're running out of show here, Matt. Keep it going.
Yep, let's go to the AFC. Ryan, you could answer it. I know who you're going to say. The biggest surprise team in the AFC will be blank.
I've got 2.
No, you only get one because I'm getting the other one.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns.
That's the one
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I think Deshaun Watson 3 years ago was a top 4 quarterback in the NFL. They've got Jim Schwartz as their new defensive coordinator. They still have Nick Chubb. Do not underestimate, do not lay down on the Cleveland Browns in 2023.
AFC, Broder.
Give me the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh,
I thought they were
that.
going to be garbage
Good one.
leading into this season, but they've made some very strategic pieces, just like adding DeAndre Hopkins, I think is a not subtle, actually. It's a huge addition.
It is a huge addition.
You know they're going to play good defense. You know Vrabel is going to have him at least ready to play tough football. I'm going Tennessee Titans.
I'll take Ryan's other team. Oh, the Denver Broncos.
That's my other team.
Russell Wilson in the best shape of his life, they say. He is back, and he's got his man. He's got Sean Payton on the sideline, not Nathaniel Hackett. The Broncos are going to be trouble this year in the AFC.
Guys, we're going to take a pause real quick. I'm just going to do this quickly. Guardian Alarm, and then we're coming back to finish the fill-in-the-blank questions. Guardian Alarm, they're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. And don't forget, as you see the great packed house we have at Lady Jane's, you can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Actually, it's Buick GMC, not Chevrolet Cadillac. 2 cars, one for you, your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, Spencer producer wanted me to put in his AFC team is the Houston Texans.
Houston.
That's what Spenny says.
I think Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs this year. I should have gone with Pittsburgh.
So everyone's making the playoffs in your world.
No, I just look. Yeah. I mean, I think Pittsburgh is a team that everybody's going dark on.
Agreed.
They were 9-8 last year with a rookie quarterback. I think they're only getting better. And that head coach over there, who's better than him? Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, and who? I mean,
Dan Campbell.
Well, yeah, do it over 15 years and you get in that group. You know?
All right, back to fill in the blank Friday. The Washington Commanders. The word on the street is Josh Harris, the new owner, will not only get them a new stadium, but he might get them a new nickname.
Said very likely to change the name.
So I put to you, the Washington Commanders will now be known as the Washington what, Ryan?
Football team. There's no better nickname for any team ever in the history of professional sports besides football team.
So stupid.
WFT, Washington Football
WTF.
Team.
How about you, bro?
How about the football club, Washington Football Club?
Oh, God, it makes it even worse. You got a name?
You got me. You put me on the spot. I like the name I think you're about to go with. So
you got to come up with something.
Give me
I'll
a
do
second.
mine, then you can think of mine. I'm going to go with the thing I thought should have been all along. First of all, the Redskins should never have been changed. Nonetheless, the Red Wolves. The Washington Red Wolves. That's going to be the new name. The new helmet's going to look a lot better than a stupid W on a helmet. And those colors got to go back to the original Washington Redskins colors. That's my pick.
Come on.
I'm sorry. I don't care.
Well, I guess the owner said the name today.
Don't give a damn.
Multiple times.
Did he say it?
Yeah.
A bunch of people that didn't like the name, and that's why they changed it. Broder, what do you got?
I'm not gonna have anything too creative. I think you got to go some presidential route, something political. The Washington presidents, the Washington Senate. No, I guess they've already.
They can do the senators again.
Yeah,
senators could come back.
That's just what I think.
I like the
Washington.
politics.
Yeah, very good.
The monuments.
Interesting.
Oh,
the monuments.
Be a statue. All right, last one here, guys. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs will blank in week 1 of the season.
They're going to play. They will be with their teams. Both will be back with their teams, especially Saquon Barkley. If Josh Jacobs wants to sit out, I don't blame him. The Raiders are a mess. I can't stand Josh McDaniels and that whole thing. Mark Davis got pushed into a corner, obviously, when they had to let the sacrificial lamb, John Gruden, go. So I think they'll both be playing. You got to play. You got to make your money. You can't pull a Le'Veon Bell. Bro, it's up to you.
I think they both sit, or at least one of the two sit. And you hate to see it. We love watching Saquon out on the field, but I think whether it's Saquon or Josh Jacobs, they're making these moves for the rest of their running back brothers. You know, I think someone's got to take the stance that they think they deserve more money, and they're going to hold out.
I believe they will sit as well. In less than an hour ago, the Giants have signed former Jaguars and Jets running back James Robinson for some added depth at the position. He's just a depth guy.
He can't play anymore.
But I do believe they are both going to sit. They will both try to take a stand. They will both sit. I hope I'm wrong, but I think they're both going to sit. Do we have any more live reads?
There was one other question on here that I cut off. The Tigers.
Yes.
Did you want it? The Tigers will be blank games out at the trade deadline, Matt Broder.
3. There'll be 3. They're going to chip away, but 3 games back.
Brian?
I'm going to say 3. I think they're going to be 3 games back at the trade deadline.
All right.
Guys, I want to get a message in from Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness, JB.
Oh, not a problem. I got you, because summertime is a great time to get in shape and beat low E. Planet Fitness is your home to the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work out on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness, or as always, check them out at planetfitness.com.
Hey, we got breaking news coming back from Allen Park in a second, but first I want to tell you about Randy Wise. How would you like to see famous athletes like Darren McCarty, Jim Harbaugh, and Braylon Edwards play golf with us guys, the average Joes? You know it. You know what time it is. It's time for the Randy Wise Automotive, a Woodward Sports Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice. Pay attention to us right here at Woodward Sports for more details. Bro, what do you got from Allen Park?
Yeah, real quick on the way out, it looks like sources say Justin Jackson, running back. Justin Jackson has just been re-signed by the Detroit Lions.
I like that.
Yeah, he finished last season. I think he was the number 3 running back on the team.
I like him.
The starting kick returner. He's going to do some, make some noise in the special teams.
I hope so, man. That's good.
We'll keep an eye on him throughout training camp.
Love it.
They kept him away from the Giants.
Matt Broder, you rock, buddy. Love having you on the show. We'll see you a lot throughout the season as well. Thank you
Monday,
so much,
bro.
buddy.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
You got it. Maz, great job to you.
Same to you,
JB
man.
Parker, great stuff. Heavyweights coming up next. And
Thanks
thanks
for
to
bearing with
everybody for bearing with us. Everybody in the chat, my goodness, love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.